is the best in town, there is no real good food.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's like that's like pitiful, right? So anyway,
It is what it is.
it is what it is. And blueberry,
That's blueberry.
that a girl. Yep, yep. They don't quite do the bacon. I love bacon, super crisp.
Oh yes, that's the only way to eat it.
Right.
Soggy bacon's kind of like
When it still has fat on it, it's like worthless.
I actually like crispy pepperoni on the pizza.
Oh yeah, crisp. Yeah, yes, yes.
It's gotta be firm, otherwise
So,
it's just kind of soggy.
what am I doing? Spring is here, and we're gonna get cold. My gangster friend from Chicago is coming to visit,
Yes,
and
good. Go ahead.
so I'm gonna go pick him up Friday. We're gonna stay a week. It'll be interesting to see how Tony Soprano
Well, that's good.
does out in the
I'll
woods.
take care of you.
So that'll be
Well,
interesting.
maybe he'll give a talking to the cockroaches.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Because
Maybe
Colonel Sanders is
have
got,
a few words.
has his clock on his hip, and they'll get into it. And this guy will just, without blinking, put his brass knuckles through his nose, and then take the gun away from him and put it in his mouth, and then tell him a few things. Right? It'll be interesting to see what they do.
Maybe you should have it on the show.
Oh yes, if it starts to go down, I'm going to videotape it. Yeah.
I don't think your friend will appreciate it.
No,
It could be considered evidence if you're doing something.
well, I'm a good cinematographer. I could keep them out of the frame.
Or you could just put some kind of a disclaimer like this was a reenactment.
Right. This didn't really happen. This is only
No
for
one actually
entertainment
got hurt.
sake. This is only for entertainment sake.
Entertainment purposes only.
Right.
Don't try this at home.
Right, exactly. But basically, those guys are going to self-implode.
Alright, did everything come out?
Oh, it's only a matter of time.
Alright, enjoy.
Come back. The only thing to do, you can bring me a large coffee with a lid on it, so it'll be my friend.
For sure, you got it.
You know what's interesting.
What?
One of my bosses, who is not a very happy person.
Mm-hmm.
They just had a health scare and had to go get oral surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, because they're so angry all the time,
They're gnawing
they
their
developed not only gnawing the teeth, but they were chewing the inside of the cheek.
Oh yeah.
That had actually formed like a cyst and some other shit.
Yep.
And I had to have a biopsy. Fortunately, no cancer.
Right.
But it was interesting because when I first kind of got here, and this individual would harangue me and the other staff, and I just send her love. I don't get into that. Matter of fact, I've told her several times, you're one of God's favorites, and I'm praying for you. And she kind of looked at me kind of crazy and said thank you, and that's it. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, she's probably going to manifest something because you can't do that kind of stuff. And she's been doing it for a long time, way before I came here. I just noticed that over my lifetime, that people who've messed with me,
Mm-hmm.
they usually wind up destroying themselves. That's nothing to do with me, but
Right.
I just noticed that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're an asshole, you're gonna, karma, not to make it real plain. Karma is basically how you live determines how you live.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you're living foul, you're gonna have health stuff. You're gonna have, you're not gonna be well. You're not gonna be well.
Yep. I've
observed that in myself. I've observed it in others. But just as much as we have the ability to inflict physical suffering on ourselves, we also have the ability to heal. So some of my ailments seem to be going away since the
Good.
shift in attitude recently.
Good.
Yeah, I was developing a spot of eczema on my hand, and it seems to be healing before it would get too out of hand.
Huh.
No pun intended. And yeah, I'm looking forward to my wife leaving. It's gonna be fun.
How long is she going away?
Oh, I have no idea. No, she's moving to North Carolina. So
Oh, she's
she might
physically
come back to
moving to
visit
North
me,
Carolina?
but no, she's gone. She'll be gone in November. Well, that's the idea anyway.
Is she getting?
I asked her to expedite that because I'd like some room in the place to put some of my artwork and other shit.
Mhm.
But you know, I wasn't trying to be an ass about it. But I was like, listen, I'm staying here. You're going there. I love you, and you know, just like Carol Burnett said, I'm glad we spent this time together.
Right.
You know,
Well, you can always, what I have is affairs to remember, and so
oh, absolutely. No, I have no regrets at all.
but
I mean, well, that's kind of bullshit. If anything, I wish I had treated her more of as a blessing than a burden.
right.
Yeah, I really treated her very badly in that regard. It's kind of like, oh, I'm busy. I'm too busy for you.
Right.
And you know, failure to be in the present moment has its consequences.
And that is usually one of the major things that have couples breaking up.
Oh, 100%. Well, I mean, I was invited to go, but I'm like, I have no business in Charlotte. I'll visit if I'm in a better position to move down there, and if we're still married or whatever, I'll move in with her. But I want a time, at least maybe a year or so, by myself,
Right.
to really focus on my band, and you know, all these things have to do with my healing.
Right.
And I'm really looking forward to it. And I've started doing some little things, getting up at 4:30 every day now, so that gives me enough time to, like, you know, get ready, take my nice long walk.
Right.
I listen to my meditation group there on Zoom. I actually, just before I get on the train, I take out the phone, do the meditation thing on Zoom with my friends, and then at 7:30, I'm on the train and I'm in the office. And it works out real nice, actually. I like the walk. I listen to some really cool music, and you know, just makes my ritual, my morning ritual.
Sounds like a plan.
Oh, just trying to stay committed to what gives me joy, even if I don't feel like it will, and just do it anyway. I found some really, really, you know, God really put me on the right path. Well, I'm open to it. He's always putting us on the right path.
Right.
I'm just taking the direction.
You're just taking it direct.
And I met some really nice people last week, and I'm going to see them again tonight.
That's good.
And one of them actually has an interest in video and stuff. And I'm going to see if I can get close to him and see if, and I told him my background and shit. And maybe he can throw me a bone, or I can do some more, just a little piecemeal stuff. Maybe just kind of get back in the swing.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm
So,
just trying to, you know, stay on my 20.
so what do you take a view on anything that's going on in the world?
Not particularly, no. It's one of the reasons I'm well. I don't watch the news. I don't read the newspapers. If people share something with me, or I happen to see it as, you know, I'm going through YouTube or the emails, yeah. But what in particular has got your attention?
Well, you know, pretty much I look at everything as interconnected. There isn't any singularity of something that's special or different from anything else. It just kind of is one of those threads that I look at and weave together as a thing, right? So a lot of people like you, but who are more siloed into opinions than you are, you know, call me up and want my opinion on it, and this and that, right? Because then they can try and show that they're right. I mean, they're always doing that, but you know,
It's basically calling you up to say, confirm I'm right,
right? And so basically, you know,
rather than actually have a discussion or explore
right?
something.
But you know, being the devil doctor, I cover all sides. So, and that really
Absolutely.
twists these people because I'll go and show them how they're wrong, and then I'll agree with them, right? So they really get upset. So you'd think they'd stop talking to me, but they don't. So anyway, you know, there are a bunch of people who are always on about what's going on in Ukraine, and I say, well, that's only one of
I just
100
don't think
wars.
everybody should have pointed their guns at Putin like that and expecting them to do something. It's a little foolish.
Well, the bottom line is, like I said, it's all these threads, and they make a tapestry. So I was at this. So one of these guys called me up and said, "So what do you think about Tucker getting fired by?"
I actually followed that yesterday.
And
A
so,
little bit. It piqued my interest a little bit. Not
Yeah.
that I really, you know,
so I've
I
been
could give a fucker about Tucker.
I've been following Tucker since he, you know, his first job, you know, where he was a print writer, right? And
Yeah, he was a copywriter for the Heritage Foundation.
right, exactly.
I found that out yesterday.
Yep. So,
And he was barely out of high school. And I don't think he ever went to college either. Not that that matters, but I think that's kind of admirable that he was able to, you know, not necessarily go that route and make something of his life, you know?
you look at all the things he was published in, and you see that he has no real beliefs in anything except
He's an operative.
what's good for him, right? And so,
Well, he's an operative. He's like a Roger Stone. He's like, you know, he's just like whoever pays.
Yep.
You know, that's it. I kind of respect guys like that because, you know, if you're dumb enough to believe what they're saying, that they actually believe what they're being told to say or being paid, then you kind of lost it. These guys are no different than like G. Gordon Liddy or they're hired guns.
and that's what he is. So this guy
Yeah,
goes.
and I get that, man, because that's how kind of I operate. You know?
So he said to me, so he's going on and on about how the deep state is going after him. I said, what are you nuts? He is part of the deep state.
Oh, we're all part of the deep state.
Right, exactly. Whether we, exactly,
Whether
we're
you want
here.
to admit it or not.
Right, exactly. So anyway, so he goes, well, what do you think it is? And I said, well, a scholar would say we'd have to wait and see where he turns up. He goes, what do you mean where he turns up? I said, what platform he goes on next? You know, where
He's either going to turn up in a river or he's going to turn up as a CEO somewhere. You know?
where he is going to turn up is that he's going into politics.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
He is,
Yeah, I kind of gleaned that too. I was like, yeah,
he,
why not?
he is the
I was
next.
hoping Matthew McConaughey runs for office.
So he was, basically the next Trump.
Yeah, he's like a light.
So the thing that, and what is going to be really interesting,
The more congenial.
but what he is going to do is that the last person he interviewed was RFK Jr.
That's right. That's right. And that's the way they said they kicked him off Fox, but there is no real explanation.
Well, the real explanation is that Fox is part of the corporate state, and so
Of course.
he only had his job. Do you know what the first job he did? Tucker Ferguson did in Fox. His first assignment on Fox.
No.
He was the weekend host of Fox and Friends.
Oh, I remember that show. Well, I told you, I used to work there. I used to work for Fox.
So
I know all the shows. I never actually watched it, but I worked it for a few years, actually.
right. And so
Thank you.
he was just making jokes and had no opinion on anything, right? So that was his first job there. And
Let me get the other door.
so,
Oh, you going this way? Okay.
so anyway, he's going to run with RFK as vice president. Tucker and RFK, because RFK he has I don't know what happened to him, but he can't talk. He had his voice box was damaged.
He's got the Catherine Hepburn disease or something.
And so and I went to school with his brother in prep school. Joe Kennedy was my roommate, so I got to know that family relatively well.
So are they lizards?
And they're all scumbags. The whole time that Robert Kennedy, this is 1967, and they lived in Massachusetts. He could have been, the limo could have driven there and they'd be there in an hour. But he took a Bell Commander, helicopter, and landed on the putting green of our school, just so to make an interesting entrance, right? So I met that family a couple times, and they were really a waste of time. And then Robert Kennedy, gets shot. A few years later, he got shot in '68. And I would say Robert Kennedy was shot more as a punishment to his dad. Because it was a real professional job. Robert Sirhan had a 22, right? And he unloaded his gun, and then, Rosie Greer fell on top of him. But the bullet that killed Robert Kennedy was a 38. Did you know that? And no one ever really said anything about that.
Well, they did that.
Anyway, and when I tell people that, they get all upset. How could that couldn't have happened? It had to be Sirhan. It was right. Everyone was there. It was on TV. I said, of course, it's on TV. It was meant to be on TV. Just like Oswald was assassinated live on TV. Right? Same as it ever was. Now, what are you making in art today?
Doesn't work.
Still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
What's your art piece you're working on?
The tetragrammaton. This is Bob. I'm going to have to boogie. Hope all is well. I bid you adieu, sir, as I am back in the office. I'll give you a call later.
Okay.
That'll be the same.
So how you guys doing? Having lunch without actually breakfast. My eyes looking better. I went to my doctor, got me a little help. No. And that styrofoam cup with the lid. No problem. Uh, that was Mr. Magic, artist, musician, counselor in New York City. And he's a good example of whatever a little Mr. Potato Head he is. Okay. Let's see. Uh, oh, I don't know. Thank you, dear. Mm. No. Everything is same as it ever was. Israel, Russia, China, Iran, world in conflict. Um, the real conflict is that all you gotta do is go read Orwell, like, Animal Farm. 4 legs good, 2 legs bad. It's up to us to make the world better. You know what? You didn't give me the script. Everything you
Also pointing out that by no means a majority of Jews around the world even support the Zionist project, and also extending a certain degree of sympathy for the displaced Palestinians. So maybe could you walk us through your view of the Abrahamic Accord and your view of the situation in Israel vis-a-vis the Palestinians?
should have at least
Let me
to do
start with the root, the
So let's see your
Israeli-Palestinian
palm.
situation.
Hand
It's Americans were actually, pro-Israel.
You're kind of close to the vest. You never spill the beans. That's why you have friends. You got a lot of healing in your hand. That's what makes you a good server. No, you do. You don't try. You do. You do. You really hate people, but you're so laid back that you're detached from that irritation.
I try.
And I think, no, you do. You don't try. You do.
I do.
And you have this job because it's like Zen for you.
Yeah, I need the chaos.
Right. And so you just kind of float through it, while the other fellow servers kind of get annoyed and stuff. Not you, right? And at the very worst, you put a little something in people's food and they vomit. So let's see this side of your hand. A lot of common sense. That's what you.
Oh,
Nothing else but common sense.
okay.
And do you read books? What's the last book you read?
I don't. I've been reading The Life of Pi for about 3 years. Having crazy rotations. I start them over. I switch out every month, read about 3 chapters.
Okay. Well, okay, that's what you're reading. And your best quality is that amongst all of that, you're actually empathetic.
Yeah, I got that one at least.
Yeah. Now that you got the other, you have a nice mix of them. What is your astrological sign?
I'm a Scorpio star, a Virgo rising, and a Cancer moon.
Oh, very good. You kind of mellow. That's why you are, because
Yeah.
Scorpios are really loads of fun,
Yeah.
and they just have to learn to cool their jets and not throw their friends under the bus, right? And you don't do that, so that's a good thing. Cancer is very empathetic.
Yeah.
Really, really sensitive. But if you were, my first wife was a triple cancer.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
and she thought she was nuts.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't. She was just really sensitive.
Yeah.
So she being with me, I kind of got her to
Right.
say it's all good. You actually are in a good place. And what was the other one you said?
A Virgo rising.
Well, Virgo is another good one because you're always right.
Yeah.
I mean, not always, but about 89%.
Yeah.
And once we put all these people together, they're right 0.004% of the time.
Right.
So you're doing pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I gotta go grab some.
Go. She was like amazed and amused and wanted to get out of there, but she was like enjoying it because she was like, how does this guy do this? And that's what everyone says. How does this guy do this? Now, if you want your palm read, just email me at the Dude Awake 42. Any questions? I have a box to go for that.
Yeah, and one of my coworkers was asking me if she could.
Sure.
Yeah, just a box to go.
The bed.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I kind of chew things up, spit them out, and then I cook them into other food. I enjoy that meal, but I don't swallow it, digest it, and I double and triple it. Hey, honey,
How are you?
always good. So let's see your palm. The hand you right with.
And I write with it.
You know, take that. Put it up like that. Oh, let's see. So what kind of art do you do?
I like collages.
You should do more of it.
Oh yeah? Interesting. Thank you so much.
No, I'm not done. I'm not
oh,
just.
okay.
This is just the start. Meaning you need to have a different, you have to reframe yourself. You put yourself in a frame that's a straight jacket. And you need to fly away like the butterfly. And your collage would do that for you. Because you have your balance of prosperity is pretty good, but you always miss the mark.
Ooh.
Because you're thinking about other stuff. So you have a lot of deja vu, don't you? And what that is, God's saying, hey, wake up. Step on that mark, right?
Right.
Let's see this side of it. The other thing, you're like way too impatient.
Yes.
That's why you're missing the mark, right? So I'm going to give you your special mantra. There's two of them. One is conscious intent, I am conscious intent, I am conscious intent, I am. Say 3 times and then do it all in one breath. You take a big breath in, take a big breath in, and then say conscious intent, I am conscious intent, conscious intent, and you do the om until you all the way out, which allows you to breathe in. And so what that will do is get you, see you hardly breathe. you're breathing like a little bird, and you need a lot more oxygen than a little bird. So that's why you are always missing the mark. Now, the other thing is, you let people get in your grill all the time. And because you just don't see them coming. So you need the other mantra is conscious aware I am. Conscious aware I am. Conscious aware I am. Because you've got your 360 going and you're seeing 3 blocks down in every direction. When that moron is just coming, you're not there. When that person gets there, you're not there. You have to deal with it. You have to do anything. And if you do, you go back, mother, you get yourself ready, you got the microphone before that person and open their mouth, you say what you want to say, and you've been wanting to say it to that person for the whole life, and you say it, and they're like, and you drop the microphone and walk away.
A lot of people have that.
Right, that's what it is. So put that back up there. So you're real, like I said, no one has a clue who you are. I mean, no one would think you're an artist, but you are. And you head around this one. Now, one of your strongest characteristics is you're very empathetic. So lean into that. Right? Don't be scared of that. So are those press-on nails?
They're not.
They're yours?
Yeah. Underneath. They got stuff on top of them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you worry so much. I can see that you worry through the stuff you have on them.
Yeah.
Stop worrying.
I'm a worried word.
But if you're only a worry word because you let people get on the grill,
Right.
it happens all the time. And so if you're aware of them 3 blocks away, you're stopping worrying. Then you can become conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am. And every time you do anything, get in the car, conscious intent I am. You know, have a glass of water, everything you do, conscious intent I am. Those 2 things. What are they? What are your mantras?
Conscious aware I am.
Yeah. Do it all day long.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
I always do.
Can I get you anything else right now?
She needed that. Do you have a smaller box than this?
Yeah, it's my box, man. Sure.
That's all I'm going for. Conscious intent I am. So that's what I do. My doctor said, so what do you do? This is what I do. So that was very nice of you to tell your friend there about me because she really needed it.
Yeah, she was very excited. I went back there and she was like, will you read mine? Will you read mine? She just got married like 2 weeks ago.
Right.
I love her.
Right, she is a sweetie, but I killed her everything she needed. You could, I mean, your mix of the stars are very good. So
Yeah.
you kind of just cruise through it. Do you got any kids?
No, I have a cat. Yeah, I'm 22. No kids yet, at least.
Right. I would say put it off. You may
Yeah.
not everyone has to have kids.
No, I would see kids far, a decade in my future. My family had me when they were like in their 30s. So.
Right. What I did, so I was very blessed that when I grew up, I was in middle school in the mid-'60s,
Yeah.
and I was in a very rural place, and then started to become suburban. So they built a whole brand new school system, and I was the first kid.
Yeah.
So I had an amazing time. And so they taught us sex education from the 6th grade on. First, 6th grade, we had high school biology,
Oh my
where we
God.
were cutting up frogs and all that,
Dang.
and did experiments with fruit flies, and found out what all that was. And then first we learned the mechanics of that,
Yeah.
and then the psychology of it. So 8th grade, we learned psychology, how to deal with people, right?
Wow.
Yeah, too bad they don't do that today.
No.
No, they don't.
I
So,
didn't even learn cursive. So.
exactly. That's, you know why they call it cursive?
I don't know.
Because it's a curse. You know why they
I
call
wish
it?
I knew how to read that.
You know why they call it spelling? It's a spell. You know, grammar in the Latin means how to measure by the inch.
Yeah.
So all of those things are irrelevant.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was heading for, school. So I learned about birth control, right? And it's really simple. There's a thing called the calendar.
Uh-huh.
And if you put your mens and follow it,
Yeah.
89%, 100% sure you're not going to get pregnant.
Wait, say it again.
If okay, I'm having my mens here. Here's the beginning of the cycle. Here's that. If you put that on, and then you can put it on all of you, get yourself a real calendar or put it on your phone and say, don't screw at this time.
Yeah.
You will never get pregnant.
Exactly.
I mean, 89%. What other than you is 89%? Next thing, when you are ovulating, you have a discharge. Right? I don't know if you've ever noticed it, but if you're the guy you're gonna hook up with, get him to go down there and see if, because if you stick your finger in there and then do this, and there's a little kind of mucusy, don't stick it in. Right?
All right.
Number two, you're with a guy for a real long time, depending on his blood type. Some swimmers like it warm, some like it cold. If they like it cold, you wear tighty whities.
All right.
The guy he can't impregnate you. If the swimmers like it warm, you wear no underwear or boxers.
All right.
Put those three together, 190% for sure you're not going to get pregnant.
Good to know.
Then, so what you can then do, I ran a homestead in New York, and I had 128 godchildren.
Uh-huh.
Kids who were running around, getting gangs, going to shoot people, going to fight. And I grabbed them and I said, no, you're going to learn to be an electrician. And I put them to work, and I gave them a place to live.
Right?
They all grew
Good
up.
work.
They didn't all become electricians, but they all grew up and became what they wanted to be.
Right.
Because that's what I was really teaching.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do.
Thank
You are lined up to do that because you did it with that young girl.
Yeah.
You did exactly what you were supposed to do.
Yeah. All right, I gotta go hop back there. But I appreciate your advice. Thank you for stopping by.
And remember, don't try.
All right.
Because you already do it. Because you're a Virgo.
I am. Virgo rising.
Yeah.
I got you. I have to agree.
Later, baby. And I see Bobby and Jimmy and Larry.
Like some more Diet Coke?
They give me a big bag. Love it. My new garbage bag. Well, they see everything. How you guys doing? So, what are those 4 stars? Is that your name, Reagan?
Yes.
So when you get 4 stars, they give you your name.
Yeah. No, you get the stars when you get or you get your name when you get 1 star. Before you get any stars, it's just the logo. Yeah, I saw you doing you do hand readings.
I do every
Every reading.
You name it, I read you.
understand.
You want to read? What's your poem? That the hand you write with? Well, you're an artist too, a dancer of sorts. You have a lot of healing in your hand. You're really close to the vest. You never spill the beans. That's why you're friends, because they tell you stuff and then you don't tell anybody else. A lot of wicked dreams. So what you need to do, you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the floor, to home, right? Wake up in the morning, it's like, whoa, what the heck was that? You grab your phone, you hit the cord, you go, wow, I just had a dream about blah, 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 blah. Now it's in this thing. Go back and listen to it. You can listen to it, stop it, pause it, go back. And you write it down. And in school, we took notes not to remember, but to understand. So you listen to this, and you write it down, and you go, wow, that's why I did that. Wow, that's why that happened. Wow. And it'll change your life forever. Let's see this side. Yeah. You're a smart girl. You kind of do everything by the book, but you don't want to. You know? So don't do it. When you don't want to do something, don't do it. Otherwise, it's going to mess you up in the long run. Keep it up there. Turn it just no, the other way. So you're very empathetic. So all you girls have the same color fingernail polish too?
No.
Yeah. Do they make the boys have the same?
Yeah,
Yes,
they all have to have matching.
Yeah. But put it back there. So do you like to dance? What's your art form?
I'm not a good dancer.
But you don't try. Something happened in 6th grade and you haven't danced since. You know,
6th grade?
whatever.
I don't know. I mean, maybe
You like music?
I do love music.
There you go. Do you make music?
No.
Maybe you should.
Maybe?
Does anyone in your family make music? No? Where'd you grow up?
Pennsylvania.
What Pennsylvania or downtown?
Pennsylvania, basically. It's up near where the Amish live.
Yeah. I live in Germantown.
Okay.
Which is not, it's more towards the hood than, but those guys are right over there. Yeah. So when did you leave?
About 5 years ago.
What did you come here?
My dad's job.
Okay. So where you still going to school?
Yeah, I go to App State.
What are you studying?
Biology.
What?
Biology.
Oh, what flavor?
Cell and molecular.
Okay, that's good. I'll give you a nice. I used to work in that scene. Everything biology, right, is chemistry.
That's what I'm struggling with.
Well, no, you got to dive into the pool. All you have to do is balance those balances. It's not a big deal. And it's, of all that stuff, it's the only thing that if you do it this way, it'll always turn out right.
Right.
And so you just kind of get to it. It's not hard. I mean, I could do it anymore, I think of it, right? The next thing is, not only is it chemistry, it's electricity. All those little cells are electrical. So you look at blood or anything that's alive under the microscope. So if you look at a cell, right? What is it doing? It's this little round ball and it's vibrating. It's not moving like this. It's vibrating. And it's illuminated from the inside. It's got that gold little tint around it, right? And then if you take, so you go from the deep look to the bigger look, and you will see a whole bunch of other cells that are look like glue, like black and brown, and they're barely if moving at all. You want to be like that little cell. So visualize. I've died so many times. It's ridiculous. My doctors can't believe I'm freaking alive. I just came from it. And so I visualize every cell in my body, that little golden round. I was at Johns Hopkins in 1983, and this young lady found the cure of all disease. She ended up dead. Because she was a woman and she was brilliant. She had it down. There's no way, oh, you're a woman. And she was, so yeah, take a look at that equation, right? And so, and not only did she die in a car crash, she died in a car crash with a bullet in her head. It's like a little message to her. I left Johns Hopkins quite quickly, but they kept hiring me to do other stuff.
You worked there?
I was like a hired gun. I worked in I have lots of skill sets. My best skill set is to work with people. We get
Very good at talking to people.
and getting to work together. And science has been made to not do that, but it only works when you do that. And so otherwise, you end up with a bullet in you.
Well, thank you.
So what direction do you want to be? A doctor? What do you want?
Dentist.
Dentist? You know, everyone hates dentists.
I know.
I mean,
I want
what?
to be a pediatric dentist.
Oh, that's even worse.
I know.
I mean, those guys. Did you ever see Little Shop of Horrors?
Yes.
You know, Steve Martin.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that dentist. I had that dentist as a child. He had a drill that he had a foot pedal, meaning not an electric motor, not the air, not the water. So he burnt his way through your tooth. And then he poured hot lead in it, not even an ounce. That's why I have no teeth.
Well, thankfully, technology and the medical field has advanced. a
Really?
lot
Like, so
probably
no,
since
it's
then.
going back. It's Steve Bob. You ever hear that band Devo? No. Not that whip.
Okay.
They're all about Devo stands for de-evolution.
Okay.
That's what we're doing. We're going backwards
You're right. Nobody realizes it yet.
because we're addicted to convenience. As
Yep.
long as it's convenient,
You're right.
and you're this job, any job like your job, even dentist, anything that is the same job over and over and over will be replaced relatively soon by AI and robots.
Oh yes, that's why. I mean, as of now, I'm specializing so that I don't have to worry about that anytime soon.
Like soon, like 2 weeks.
Yeah. Hopefully not within the next like 10, 20 years.
Oh, not really. What you really need to do, find what you really love doing.
You're right.
And
I don't
it's
think
not
I've found
dentistry.
that yet.
Yeah, right. It's not dentistry. So you're on this trip to be open to finding what you really want to do. And it might be music.
Might be.
Go get yourself a kazoo.
Harmonica.
Whatever you just put in that pocket, you know.
There we go.
Okay, handsome.
Well,
What's your name?
Reagan.
Oh yeah, Reagan, right.
Yes. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate
Miss President.
it. Yeah. You have a great day. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, baby. I'm not going anywhere. This is my office. No. Yep. That's what I do. Well, it's nice and toasty. What is the radio? Oh, look, it's a radio. They have a real radio. I tell people these things, and it kind of gets stuck in their head.
Other than it, to-go cup can
Seniors don't have to worry about paying for dental visits ever again, thanks to this new 2023
Yeah.
benefit. What resonated with audiences with positive because we share something in common. We know we're being lied to. And Tucker pointed it out. Rather than hyper-focusing on cultural issues or obsessing over Democrats like so many of his counterparts, he did those things, but not in a hyper or obsessive way. Tucker was calling out instead the real problems we face as Americans, problems deeply rooted in our institutions. The one thing the establishment fears more than anything is a wide-awake America. They prefer us to be at each other's throats, fighting about wokeism and racism. They want us to hate each other so we don't look at what they're doing and hate them instead. The elites collectively loathed January 6th because it was the one time people placed their anger squarely in the right place, directly at them. Rather than taking to the streets in violent riots, burning down small mom and pop shops, protesters took to Washington, where the real problem stemmed from, and called into question whether or not we're truly a free people in a democracy. And we've seen how they reacted to it. When people take to the streets, they didn't seem to pay any attention. But when they take it to Washington, they immediately roll out rigorous counterterrorism measures, barricades in place, and leveling American people is dangerous. Tucker amplified their angst, suspicion, and sentiment of the
Yeah, please.
and eventually can't.
Throw anybody my way. I'm here for a while.
What do you say?
Hey, throw anybody my way. I'm here for a while.
You got it. I love
All right, guys. Well, it's my pleasure. Have a great rest of your day.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Nice t-shirt.
God bless you.
Yep. Jesus loves us. Ba-ba-ba. Okay. Russians accidentally destroy their own city.
Slavery and imperialism are both forms of denial of freedom. Dreaming of dominating other people is a sign of mental illness. When these comments came out of the mouth of Polish President Andrzej Duda, as he is called, the conflict in Ukraine had already been going on for a whole year. Since the very beginning of the conflict in Ukraine, Poland has been an essential ally of Kiev and its forces. Since Warsaw and Kiev had experienced the same things throughout history, it was only natural for Warsaw to take its place on the side of Ukraine. The outbreak of hostilities saw the courageous individuals of Poland rush to the aid of their Ukrainian comrades on the front lines. The conflict in Ukraine is home to a significant number of volunteer soldiers. Soldiers from Poland are considered to hold a very significant position within the ranks of the volunteer warriors. Let's take a look at how the involvement of Polish volunteers changed the course of the war between Russia and Ukraine. And what they put Putin in were groups of obviously resolute tiny guys marching in the opposite direction to fight the Russians while buses full of Ukrainian refugees flooded across the border into Poland. The majority appeared to be immigrant Ukrainians in their 20s and 30s. On the other hand, you could also hear some of them speaking different languages. The vast majority of them were dangling a pair of black military boots from their gym backpacks. These individuals were responding to the invitation extended by supporters of democracy and peace to become members of their new brigade, the International Ukrainian Regional Defense Legion, and provide assistance to them in their conflict with the Russians. Soldiers from Poland were among those who enlisted in the newly formed International Foreign Fighter Brigade in Ukraine. Some Poles were among those who made the comparison, saying that Russia's invasion of Ukraine was similar to the Soviet Union's savage invasion of Poland in October. Vladimir Rogov, the leader of the movement known as We Together with Russia, stated that there were approximately 5,000 Polish soldiers participating in
Only $5.49 for this washing machine. Small body but big power, with draining and drying functions. Do your intimate laundry in a minute. Blue light sterilization protects personal health. Get it now on Temu. Say goodbye to head washing.
The movement known as We Together with Russia stated that there were approximately 5,000 Polish soldiers participating in the conflict in Zaporizhia. Rogov made note of the fact that many Polish-speaking residents are receiving treatment in various hospitals, particularly in the portion of Zaporizhia that is under Kiev's control. The conflict in Ukraine continued to worsen, which resulted in a significant rise in the
It's a simple, unspoken law. To be a naval power, you need as many aircraft carriers as possible. And so it's no coincidence that the U.S. is currently the undisputed most powerful nation in the world. Today, 1 in every 4 aircraft carriers in the world belongs to the U.S. Their total combined deck space is more than double that of all other nations combined. And the entire fleet is being led by a $13 billion beast so huge it is referred to as a super carrier. Still, it appears some of these other nations continue to fight to surpass the U.S. in terms of aircraft carrier capabilities. And in this video, you'll see all countries and all aircraft carriers to compete with the U.S. super carrier. Number 13, Atlantico, Brazil. 21,500 tons, 18 knots, 18 aircraft, $105.8 million. Originally constructed in the United Kingdom for service with the Royal Navy as a landing platform helicopter, the ship was purchased from the UK in 1998 to serve as Brazil's sole aircraft carrier. Named Atlantico, the ship is armed with
Blah, blah, blah. Hi there. My name is Albert DiMartino. I was just at your facility in Boone, and I saw my doctor, and I went through all I had to go through, and they were going to give me some diabetes blood sugar test strips, right? The lady came in. She said, oh, yes, I'll get them right away. The doctor came in. I talked to him for about 10 minutes, and then I forgot it, and she didn't come and bring it in. So I'm still in Boone, so I'm going to head back. And if you could have them, just have it at the front desk when I get there in about 10, 15, 20 minutes, that would be great. Oh, the doctor from Venezuela, his last name starts with an L. Yeah. Okay. Hi there. This is Al Martino. I came in and was with Dr. Giovanni Libre earlier at around 10:45, and I left and I talked to a lady who is in charge of my diabetes, and she was going to bring me 2 boxes of test strips for my blood sugar. And I was there with the doctor for a good 20, 30 minutes, and she never came back. And I forgot about it. I'm still in Boone, so I'm going to come back. And if you could have them at the desk when I get there, that'd be great. Okay? Okay. Anyway, so it's been an hour and something. No questions, right? So you got all that personal information. No one's going to see it except you, AI.